Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You amazing, amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's me. It's Harsh. You're looking absolutely amazing. And I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes. And this video is going to piss some people off. It's my opinion, and that is all this is. An opinion that I'm entitled to. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off. Dylan Mortensen, right? She is the gift that keeps on giving. She is the gift that keeps on giving. Her story has been changed more times than, I don't know. What's another story that's been changed quite a lot? I don't know. You'll have to let me know down below. Name me another case where there's been a witness that's had a story change this many times in it, and seemingly nobody has a problem with. Nobody has a problem with it whatsoever. This Idaho 4 case has had some elements to it that is just so fucking bizarre. It's beyond the realms of normality by a mile, by an absolute mile. Like this, like, good on her. All I'll say is good on her for this, because this is fucking. She's got literally. This is the photograph of her GoFundMe that is about kind of a healing journey, right? So this is pre-healing journey started, and she is clearly looking good. She's got lip gloss on, so she's got all her lips done, her makeup's all done, her hair's looking nice, her hair's been cut, she's got her nails done, she's got a little tattoo there which commemorates the loss that she suffered, and she's got a nice pose going on, and she's now got $106,000 in a back burner, in a skyrocket, to go and therapize herself. There's some therapy that's going to get you, boy. There's a lot of types of therapy. One of them being retail therapy. Girls love a little bit of shopping. You'd be surprised what shopping can do to help. But anyway, what we're talking about in this video? What we're talking about in this video is this, right? So, I find this funny. Need to know. Brian Koberger said the name of Kaylee Goncalves on the night of the Idaho murders, according to members of the Moscow Police Department and the Idaho State Police. That information was given to them by surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen, who said that she was confused about what she saw and heard on the night of the murders, but not this. She advised she knows what she heard, especially about hearing who she believed was Kaylee crying and the male voice telling her he was there for her. Detective Victoria M. Gooch wrote in newly unsealed documents. We'll read this and then we'll go to the other one. Brian Koberger had no known ties to his victims. Prosecutors have said, but according to one of the surviving roommates, he identified at least one of his victims by name before stabbing them to death. Two newly unsealed documents in the murder state that Dylan Mortensen told authorities she heard the killer say Kaylee Goncalves' name during his fatal stabbing spree. Idaho State Police Jeffrey Talbot wrote in his report that upon arriving at the Moscow home of the 4 University of Idaho victims, Sergeant Dustin Blaker of the Moscow Police Department provided him with an overview of the information that police had gathered that morning. Sometime in the early morning hours, Mortensen was awoken and opened her room door, redacted, and heard a male say, "It's okay, Kaylee. I'm here for you," and crying. Talbot wrote in his summary of briefing he received from Sergeant Blaker, a copy of which was among the unsealed documents obtained by People. At the time of his first interview, Mortensen believed that she heard Goncalves run down the stairs at the time of the murders while trying to flee her killer. Mortensen said that after hearing Goncalves run downstairs, she heard the killer speak. She then heard a male voice, which she stated she had never heard before, say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Mortensen believed the unidentified male was in the bathroom and with the person who was crying. She believes it was Kaylee who was the one crying, read the report summarizing Mortensen's first interview after the killings. Mortensen then changed her story later that same day after learning more details about the murders, saying she believed it was probably Xana who was crying, even though at the moment of hearing the crying, she stated she believed it was Kaylee who was crying. It's an interesting thing. Stick a pin in it and we'll come back to it. She also said Kanoda was likely the person she heard running down the stairs after discovering her friends being stabbed or seeing Koberger. Mortensen did state in both interviews that she was still in shock and trying to process the situation. However, even after saying that, she told police she was certain about the killer using Goncalves' name. She advised she knows what she heard, especially about hearing who she believed was Kaylee crying and the male voice telling her he was there for her. Detective the Victoria M. Gooch wrote in a report filed after she conducted that first interview of Mortensen alongside Sergeant Blaker of the MPD. There's a picture from the $106,000 performance where she wanted to be blocked from Brian Koberger's view. Mortensen, who is the lone eyewitness to have seen the killer on the night of the murders, also struggled to identify Koberger as the man she saw that night. Bearing in mind she looked him straight in the face when she was shown a picture of Brian Koberger, there was no kind of his eyes. I reckon there was no recognition there, nothing there at all. And I struggle with that. I struggle if you're staring at someone and their eyes are there and you're looking in their eyes. Eyes are something that you generally remember, but look, she doesn't. This is according to a newly unsealed interview that suggests her testimony, had she been forced to take the stand, might not have been a home run for prosecutors. On the day of Koberger's arrest, authorities discovered that Mortensen said she could not confirm that Koberger was the man she saw that night. From people releasing Brian Koberger's name, I know it's him, but I don't know, Mortensen said after the arrest. Then in an interview with Detective Joe Lake of the ISP that day, Mortensen said after seeing a picture of Koberger, nothing came back to me at all. So and I feel like if I saw that, my mind would be like, oh yeah, that's him. But I just don't remember at all. And it's quite interesting, isn't it, that in the courtroom, she didn't want to see him. She wanted to be blocked from his view, which is, it's almost like, is there something that you don't want to be looking at someone who you are wrongfully addressing? Maybe it gives you the opportunity to get off your chest what you need to get off your chest. Maybe there is some guilt. There is some guilt inside, which we'll touch on in a second. And again, this is just my opinion. But you can't look at the person who you're fucking over if you don't believe that they're the person who should be being fucked over. Because it takes some stones, I'm telling you, it takes some stones to look someone in the face and fuck them if they're not the person who should be being fucked. And I don't mean in a Debbie Does Dallas style, I mean in this style. Brian Koberger getting fucked over and sent into incarceration for a crime that he possibly didn't commit. And look, I'm not here to say Brian Koberger is innocent of this crime. The fucking dizzy twat has admitted to it. Which, look, it don't look good, do it? It don't look good. But for some reason, Dylan Mortensen didn't want to stare at him. She didn't want to see him. Or she didn't want him to see her. And look, there may be other things going on in her mind. But what I also find interesting is that this story keeps fucking changing. Time and time again, there is little tiny little tweaks to it. But these tweaks have ramifications. The Xana Canodal door shut versus open had ramifications. This little snippet of what was heard to now interject someone's name into it has ramifications, because Kaylee Goncalves was potentially the only person who didn't belong in that house that night. She wasn't living there. She wasn't living there. She was a person who had come back there out of the blue. Or was it out of the blue? Because it just so happens that it would appear that it was Dylan Mortensen who got her there. Dylan Mortensen is the person who got Kaylee Goncalves to come back to that house. Dylan Mortensen is the person who overheard, apparently, the killer saying her name. Dylan Mortensen is the only person who saw the killer. Dylan Mortensen's the only one who's getting fucking paid at the minute. And look, this ain't about blaming people. This is about trying to make sense of something that all of these things that keep changing and adding to it just are fucking more and more. You just get more questions thrown in the mix. And it's like, so if we're now saying that this individual, if this is Brian Koberger when he comes into this house, or whoever did it, actually came into the house after Kaylee Goncalves, and the rest were collateral, because that's possible. The rest were fucking simply collateral damage, because it would appear that Kaylee Goncalves took one fucking hell of a, do you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with it. If you've been following the case, you've been following it, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying. So was Kaylee Goncalves indeed the target? But for me, if Kaylee Goncalves was the target, then other people were involved. And even if Brian Koberger is someone who was involved, there were more people involved in this, because this would have had to have been something that was set up, because Kaylee weren't supposed to be there. So how would this individual just guess right on this night, knew that she would be there? How would they know that she was there? The new car. They wouldn't have known from the cars on the drive. All they would have known from the cars on the drive was that there was a lot of fucking cars on the drive. And you could be entering into this house, there could be a lot of people there. It was a fucking party house. But lo and behold, on the one night, a football night of all nights, there is no fucking party at this house. There is no party at this house. This is one night that you would expect this house to be vibrant and buzzing and bustling. But it isn't. It's fucking dead. Doesn't make sense, does it? Doesn't make sense. The party house on this particular night is not a party house. On this particular night, there's someone who isn't particularly supposed to be there, but she is there. And a killer enters the house and says a fucking name. Make it make sense. Let me know down below what you think. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Mwah.